The internal and external processes of the Earth produce different physical landscapes. They include high peaks, gentle lowland, indented coastline, and rocks of different shapes. Today, we will carry out a field trip on Ping Chau Mirs Bay to learn more about its unique features. Ping Chau is a small remote island located at the northeasternmost part of Hong Kong. Its relief is low. It is made up of thin bedded sedimentary rock, including siltstone, mudstone, and chert. At the two ends of the island, the rock layers incline in different directions. At the northern end of the island, the rock layers are inclined towards the southeast, whereas at the southern end, they tilt towards the northwest. The dip angle of the rock layers varies from 11 degrees to 21 degrees. There are a few objectives of this field trip. Identify the internal process that form the landscape of Tolo Channel. Identify indications of dip and strike on rock layers. Identify the rock type and the hardness of rock on Ping Chau, and study the erosional features on Ping Chau. We need to ride on the public ferry to reach Ping Chau. The first task is to pay attention to the following few things during the ride. The orientation of Tolo Channel, the tilted sedimentary rock layers at Bluffhead, and the fault and dipping of rock layers at Port Island. Do you know how the landscape of Tolo Channel was formed? The landscape here was formed from internal processes. First, Tolo Channel fault determines the northeast-southwest alignment of Tolo Channel. The tilted rock layers at Bluffhead and Port Island were formed by earth movement. Faulting on the rock layers has resulted in the vertical fault at Port Island. After observing these features, we will move on to Task 2, which is rock identification on Ping Chau. Ping Chau is composed of sedimentary rock, which was formed about 55 million years ago. Do you know how to identify the type of rock found on this island? We may stop by the outcrop of a place and use the checklist here to identify the rock type. The questions on the checklist include: does the rock contain fossils? Is the rock bedded? Are there layers? Does the rock contain pebbles and grit cemented inside? After identifying the rock type, we may check the grain size of the rock. Is the rock fine-grained or coarse-grained? Can you tell the type of sedimentary rock at Ping Chau by measuring the grain size? After finishing the rock identification task, let's move on to Wong Yi Kok for Task 3. From what we can see, the layers of rock on Ping Chau are not horizontal, but gently dip towards northeast. Internal processes had uplifted the rock layers here. This explains the tilting of rock layers. Let's use a clinometer and a compass to measure the dip and strike of the rock layers here. Besides inclined rocks, some rock layers on Ping Chau have varying degree of resistance. At Lok Long Shoi, at the southwestern coast of the island, where Task 4 is carried out, rocks of different resistance are found. Here, we can see a grayish-white layer of rock extending into the sea. This is a layer of chert, which contains fine-grained quartz and feldspar. The Mohs scale of mineral hardness of this layer is 7. It is resistant to weathering. The layer beneath it is siltstone. The mineral hardness is 3. It is less resistant to weathering. The more resistant chert layer formed as a capping layer capped the less resistant siltstone layer. Finally, we will visit and observe a few noteworthy erosional features on Ping Chau for Task 5. Kang Lao Shek, the two stacks standing on a wave-cut platform. It is a typical wave erosional feature. It is also a famous landmark of Ping Chau. Lan Kuo Shui, a wave-cut platform. Chau Poi, a large sea cliff. And also Cham Keng Chau, a small peninsula where the cliff face looks as if it is chopped by a giant axe. The softer rock here is eroded to form a bay, and the harder, more resistant rock forms a headland where Cham Keng Chau rests on. After completing Task 5, the field trip of Ping Chau at Mirs Bay is done. You can use field evidence to describe and explain the characteristics of sedimentary rock on Ping Chau. Also explain how various features formed here